Hello friends, it's time for an update on my CZ P10C, now at 3,800 rounds. I've put it off long enough. It's time. At 2,800 rounds, my firing pin snapped. There will be a link to that video in the description. It was a very unfortunate thing, as it's the kind of breakage that you might not notice until you need to use the gun, and then nothing happens when you pull the trigger. Yeah, very disconcerting. So this isn't going to be a funny video with humorous pictures and music. Parts breakages are very serious. We trust our lives to our guns, and we expect them to work. CZ's response to the breakage wasn't great. They didn't have a replacement part and couldn't tell me when they would. Then I told them that I had filmed the breakage, and they were able to find a replacement part. It was not a great situation. I've heard that CZ has excellent customer service, and I had expected to receive that excellent customer service, and I did not. I wasn't bothered by the breakage as much as I was bothered by CZ's customer service. Shit breaks. I had to replace a prematurely worn part on one of my Gen 5 Glocks, but a replacement part was readily available for the Glock, not so with the CZ. So I installed the replacement striker, but I had a conundrum. I usually test a gun to 3,000 rounds, I make my stupid videos, and then I move on to another gun. With the exception of my home defense guns, those I shoot all the time, at least once a week, usually twice. The first one of those is my Beretta 92A1, which gets an obscene amount of use and is the most reliable gun I've ever owned. The second was the P10C, but after the firing pin broke, it was replaced by a Glock Model 45. So I needed to see if the P10C was going to break again. It has been suggested by some of you that dry firing hastens or causes the firing pin breakages. So I ran another case of ammo through the gun and dry fired it excessively. The striker assembly has been dry fired a shitload at this point. So far, though, nothing has broken. How has the P10C performed? Other than the firing pin breakage, this gun has performed flawlessly. There have been no other malfunctions, but Jesus, what a malfunction to have, right? Here's the original firing pin. You can see there's no tip. It snapped right off. And I don't know where it went. I wasn't able to find it that day. Hell, it could have fallen out at home before I even got it to the range. There's no way to know when the pin snapped either. With the old striker, in the 500 rounds leading up to it snapping, I also noticed that the trigger had begun to feel strange. It had gotten kind of creaky and gritty, and cleaning wasn't doing anything to solve the problem. The feel barely resembled that of the gun when I first took it home from the shop. But then, as soon as I put the new striker in the gun, the trigger was back to being one of, if not the best, striker-fired trigger you can buy. The gun is a pleasure to shoot, and I'm still incredibly impressed with how it feels in my hands. I love this gun. I adore it. What has impressed me most, however, in terms of the gun's performance, is how little wear we see inside the gun. That made it all the more upsetting when the firing pin broke. But let's take a look inside and see. So I've seen folks online saying that their magazines wore excessively. I haven't seen that at all. The magazines have held up just fine. In fact, I really like these magazines. Now, I'm doing this across the table, so it's probably going to look really awkward, me taking it apart, but let's try. All right. So on the frame, we see something that looks more like normal wear for a gun that's got 3,800 rounds through it. I don't know if you can see that as well through the camera, but on the rails, there's a good amount of wear. But when we get to the slide, look at that. That's crazy. There's so little visible wear. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments saying that I haven't actually shot 3,800 rounds through the gun. And if it weren't my own gun, I don't know. I'd probably question that too. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So there's the barrel itself looks almost damn near brand new, like it's barely been used. But this is the original barrel. I haven't done anything to the barrel. This is all the stock stuff. We do see somewhere where the barrel hood rides under the slide, but that looks more like a Glock at like the 500 round mark. That's pretty crazy. Also, this gun has been dropped on gravel twice, and there's some marring on the frame to prove that on both sides. But the slide hit the ground too, and there's no wear at all. In fact, you can't even tell that the slide has been bumped. That's pretty wild. This finish is apparently a nitride finish. Whatever it is, it's incredibly durable. It's up there with the classic Tennifer finishes of old. I love this finish. It's badass. All right, let's get everything put back together. The barrel is really robust. As we talked about in my initial review, it's crazy robust. I just wish the firing pin had been as overbuilt as some other parts of the gun. Wow, it's kind of hard to get that in with your arms extended all the way across the table. All right. And let's see how the trigger's doing. Very smooth and crisp. Same short reset. Just feels awesome. Final thoughts. Right now, this gun has got to win my trust back. From what I understand, CZ is now making these guns in the US, which will hopefully alleviate the supply issues, but I was supremely pissed off by how this situation was handled. I love CZ, I buy a lot of their guns, and I've heard great things about their customer service. I expected better. I expected their customer service to be in line with the quality of some of their other guns that I've owned. And I think, though, with the switch to U.S. production, they'll be able to get the parts that we need and sort out that issue. But until I know that they've done that, I don't view this as being the serious defensive option that I once did. It's not going to stop me from buying CZs. I still love them. Their pistols and long guns are fantastic. But you have to sort of keep that in the back of your mind that if you snap a major part, are you going to be able to get another one very quickly? However, there's still the obvious problem, even if they get the supply issues sorted out. Why did the firing pin break? Is it going to break again? Does dry firing break the pins? I still don't know the answer to that. I do know that Cajun Gunworks makes a replacement striker that is said to be far more durable, and it costs close to $50. But I wanted to see if I could break this MEM striker again before I buy the one from CGW. I love this gun. If the firing pin hadn't broken, I would have continued to defend my home with it. There are few guns as pleasurable to shoot, and I would have kept taking it to the range with my Beretta for some serious abuse. Right now, I shoot it every now and again, trying to build that relationship back up. But we're just not there yet, the P10C and I. With any luck, though, the P10C will rise to the occasion and will become a trusted companion once more. I hope this update is helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Good night.